Hi everyone. In this video, I'm going to introduce you to the basics of how to use Blogger.com, as well as talk about some of the teaching and learning considerations to be thought about when you're working with this tool. First of all, let's talk about what Blogger is and why I am even familiar with this technology. I first learned about Blogger several years ago when I was looking for a platform to make my own personal blog. At that time, I had been reading a lot of blogs about cooking and crafts and things like that, and I was just looking to start a personal blog about some of the things that I was working on in my personal life. I first came across Blogger, and I really liked it first because it was free. Also because it easily integrated with all of my other Google Apps tools, and as well because of all of the really professional templates that were already created and freely available or available at a very low cost, which made it easy to create a blog that looked very professional with very little time or money. I used Blogger in my personal life for about a year before I decided to start using it as part of my classroom. I didn't specifically use Blogger with my classroom, but because of my experience with Blogger, it allowed me to use other tools that my school had provided to use a blog type platform with my class, and it was extremely successful. So based on all of these experiences, I started working on a teacher blog probably about a year ago, and since then I have used it to connect with teachers from all over the world and different types of schools than mine and get ideas for how to work with my students as well as how to work on my own professional development. So for all of these reasons, when we started this project, I was really excited to look at Blogger and share my experiences with Blogger with the rest of the class. So let's talk about the basic features. I already mentioned that it's hooked to a Google Apps account and that it's free, and these are probably the two biggest reasons that I would recommend Blogger for someone who is just starting to work with blogs. There are a lot of different blog platforms out there. They all have their different benefits and their different problems, but I would say Blogger is probably the best to start out with because of the fact that it's integrated with Google Apps and because of the fact that it's free. Also, it has a fully functional composition tool. If you were to open up Microsoft Word or Google Docs or any other program like that, basically anything you could do to compose a document there, you can use to compose in Blogger. They also have a fully functional WYSIWYG editor, so you can import and embed basically any type of multimedia that you want. And also, because it's integrated with Google Apps, it easily works with things like the Google Slideshow presentations. You can put a whole Google Slideshow right in a blog post, and your readers can access it right from the post. They don't have to download it and open it in PowerPoint or anything like that. There are also literally thousands of free design templates. One of the hardest things about starting a classroom website is finding a way to make it look professional, but do that quickly so that you can get to putting the content in there. And there are literally thousands of templates that are available. There are some made specifically for schools. There are some that are a little bit more general that could be used for just about any type of purpose. But anything that you could imagine that you wanted to use to set up your Blogger blog is available out there, and a significant portion of them are free or very low cost. Also, Blogger has built-in easy sharing tools, such as allowing readers to subscribe by email or automatically generating RSS feeds. The email function is very helpful for a classroom teacher. If you were to set up a classroom blog to help talk about what's going on in your classroom, parents could go to the blog and subscribe by email, and every time you created a blog post, it would be sent automatically to them. The same is true with RSS feeds. If they would like to stick it into their Feedly account or some other RSS reader that they use, or you would like to import your blog posts into a learning management system, you could use RSS feeds for any of those functions, and that's automatically done by Blogger. It already does it for you. Also, there are privacy tools that help you manage who can read your blog. First and foremost, you can choose to publish under the account name or your personal name associated with your Google Apps account, or you can write under a pseudonym. This can be really helpful for students who either might not necessarily be comfortable writing under their own name, or for parents who they say, yes, my students can do it, but they don't want their name on it, or for if you are just genuinely concerned about this to begin with, you can have students create a pseudonym and they can still publish to the web and use all the publishing tools and have the benefits of having an authentic audience with the added privacy benefits of being able to write under a pseudonym. So all of these are benefits of Blogger, and they are things that I talk about more in the instructional video that is a little bit later in this presentation. I've mentioned a little bit about the ways that blogs can be used to support teaching and learning. The two biggest things I would like to mention is that blogs help you take any type of lesson that has to do with publication or writing for an authentic audience or collaboration or sharing content, any of those types of activities, as well as any communication that you work on in your classroom, whether you're communicating with your parents or your students or other teachers. All of those activities can be greatly enhanced by the use of blogs. Specifically, if you look at the SAMR model, traditional instructional activities that, like the ones I mentioned, can really be bumped up to the two highest transformational levels, the modification and the redefinition levels of the SAMR model, and that can be done through blogs. So for example, blogs are a fantastic way for students to connect with other students, whether they're connecting with students in their own school or students across the world. Blogs allow them to publish their content to the web so that anyone can access it. This really helps in creating an authentic audience, which is extremely important when you're working with an activity such as looking at the writing process. It's extremely motivating for students to know that someone is actually going to read their work, someone beyond just the teacher or someone beyond just their classmates. It really helps them do their best work if they know that someone who is genuinely interested in their content is going to be able to read it. And this is something that's not necessarily available to them if they're just writing for their classmates or if they're writing for someone in a local area such as a pen pal. This benefit wouldn't necessarily be easily accessible. Also, those activities tend to be limited to sharing their content and their information with maybe one other classroom that the teacher arranges a PayPal situation. With blogs, a student can write about anything they care about, anything that's important to them, and they can find other people around the world who are genuinely interested in the things that they're interested in. And because of this, they will be more motivated to genuinely do their best work if they're connecting with people who are actually interested in the same thing that they are also interested in. Blogs can also be used to help teachers connect with other teachers. This is one of the big ways that I've used my teacher blog, is to find other people who teach the same thing that I do. I teach kind of a niche topic. I teach competitive speech and debate, and there are only something like 150 teachers in the entire state of Ohio who actually do this activity. So it has helped me connect with people all over the country who do similar things, who teach similar things as I do. And my blog has given me an opportunity to learn from them, as well as to network, as well as to share my ideas so that I can help them as well. So blogs are not only for communication between students and other students and teachers and their families, they can also help teachers communicate with each other. In this video, we've talked about many of the teaching and learning benefits of blogs, as well as specific reasons that Blogger is a fantastic educational platform. One thing to note before we go on is that because Blogger uses a Google Apps account or a Google Apps for Education account, it is limited to students who are over the age of 13. And I know that's difficult for some people who are in elementary classrooms. And before we go on and it becomes evident that this isn't applicable to you, I just want you to know that all of these benefits can also be reaped from other programs that are available to students under the age of 13. One really good program is called Kid Blogs, and the way that works is the teacher takes on the responsibility for the student content, and in that way the program is allowed to be used by students of any age as long as the teacher commits according to their acceptable use policy, as long as the teacher commits to being responsible for all of the content created by their students, which is ultimately what a teacher would do anyway. So their acceptable use policy just looks different than Google's, and that is perfectly fine because that allows all of these benefits to happen for students of any age. In the next video, in this page, I will give you an introduction to the way that Blogger works. You can see all of the different tools that are available, and hopefully it will give you enough information to possibly set up your own teacher blog. Thank you for listening to our project.